Welcome to r/best of Redditor updates, where we have the world's most predictable cheater. Our next Reddit post comes from Noah's Ark Rises. I'm a 33-year-old guy. My wife is 32, and Emma is a 20-year-old woman. My wife and I had a date night yesterday. We had a reservation at a restaurant, got a babysitter for the kids, and went out. The restaurant was overbooked, and we ended up getting delayed for almost 45 minutes. While we were waiting, I struck up a conversation with a young woman who was out with some friends. My wife ended up going back to the car to make some calls while I waited. The woman, Emma, and her group were delayed too, so we just talked about that. It turns out she goes to the same school that I graduated from, so we were talking about that. It was just a nice conversation. I didn't think much of it. I was just being friendly. I had zero plans of anything more. I would never cheat on my wife. Ever. Emma did see my wife, and I did introduce my wife to her. My wife made some joking comment about her being my type. I laughed and admitted that Emma was attractive. My wife and I do this sort of thing all the time. We'll mention if someone is attractive, and she knows what my type is, and I know hers. We've never cheated on one another, and it's just harmless fun. My wife had no problems with me talking to her while we were waiting. We had a nice meal, and I went to grab our car while my wife waited inside. We had to park a couple of blocks away, so I didn't want her to walk. I ran into the same girl from the restaurant on the walk to the car, and I said hi, and we talked for a bit. She mentioned that we should get coffee sometime, if I wanted to. We had an interesting talk, and I thought it would be nice to finish it up sometime. And it was kind of flattering, so I didn't want to say no. I gave her my number, and she gave me hers. I brought the car back, and my wife and I drove home. On the way home, I got a couple of texts from this girl saying, "Hey, it was nice talking tonight. Much more interesting conversation than my normal friends. Haha, we should def hang out together soon." I left my phone on the car console, and we were using it for directions, so my wife saw the text immediately. She absolutely exploded at this and has not calmed down at all. The C word, cheating, has been thrown around by her, and she literally started crying. I did apologize, and I promised her that I wasn't cheating. The thing is, I don't think I messed up at all. I feel like I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't ask for the girl's number. I didn't text her. Did I do anything wrong? I went down to the comments, and people are criticizing OP because his wife is pregnant and he's letting a 20-year-old co-ed hit on him. But the post doesn't say anything about pregnancy, so I'm guessing OP must have edited that part out to make him look better, maybe? Either way, everyone is super trashing on OP. Specifically, his wife is pregnant with their third child. Then OP posted an update. He posted to r/askwomen. The title, "So I had a first date yesterday with a younger girl. It went well. How much is me versus her? I've been texting with a girl that I met a while ago off and on, and we decided to meet up to grab something to eat and hang out yesterday. It was all very casual. This girl is a lot younger than me. She's in her early 20s versus early 30s for me. So it was kinda out of the norm for me. I've been out of the dating game for a while too, so I have no idea how to judge things. We went out to eat at like a fast casual restaurant, so nothing too fancy or too cheap. I paid. Afterwards, we decided to walk around some, and we were having what seemed like a good time. We both were laughing a lot, and I felt comfortable with her. We talked about seeing a movie, but decided not to, and we just drove back to her place. We talked in the car for almost an hour though, and we ended up fooling around some. We made out for quite a bit, and she did some other things for me. She went inside before anything else happened, and we both said that we would see each other again. My question is, how much of this was me? Am I just so much of a stud that it went so far, or is she just easy? She doesn't seem like that type of girl. I'm not judging. That would go so far so quick. I'm not sure if I'm just out of touch. Thoughts? Then OP makes another post in r/adultery. First time adulterer. Any advice or recommendations? Hopefully, this is more of a welcoming community than the other places I've posted for advice. I've been married for a number of years now to my wife. We have 3 kids, so divorce is not an option. It's an okay marriage. I have some real issues, but it's not the type of issues you can file for divorce over. I've always had kind of soft boundaries with women. I've flirted with women other than my wife for the last couple of years. I've gone as far as exchanging numbers and texting a lot, but I haven't actually met up with anyone yet. Something finally snapped with me, and I just got to a point where I don't care anymore. Yesterday, I went out with a girl that I met a while ago. We've been texting back and forth, and she seemed like she was really into me. She asked me if I wanted to hang out sometime, so I asked her to get dinner with me yesterday. We had a good time, and it was a normal date. It went really well, and we fooled around some. We just didn't talk about my wife. I didn't mention her, and she didn't ask any questions. She does know that I'm married, though. We're going to meet up again and presumably do the deed. Outside of the obvious things like use protection, is there any advice or recommendations from the more experienced adulterers of Reddit? Then, OP posts on r/relationships. She loves me after 3 weeks. How do I end this? I'm a married 33-year-old man. I've been seeing this girl, Emma, who's 20, for the last 3 weeks. It's been a pretty intense affair, and I really like her, but I'm not leaving my wife and kids. We've just basically been casually dating and talking a lot, having lots of awesome, passionate hugging, and just having a good time. She's aware of my attached status. For the first time on Friday night, she told me she loves me, and she's never felt this way about anyone. And now her texts to me are full of, I love you, and heart you, and all of that. It can't work if she feels this way about me. I was only looking for something fun and safe and risk-free. I think it's a little too risky if she feels this way about me. Before I get flamed for the cheating, I do have my reasons, and this is the first and only time I've cheated. My wife has accused me of cheating for years, and I finally reached my breaking point. If I'm going to be accused, I may as well do it. I've always had this itch to mess around, but I've never had the opportunity until now. I really think I got it out of my system, so to speak. Honestly, I've thought about divorce briefly, but we do have a family with 2 kids and 1 on the way. So it's not really a realistic option. I think the marriage is fixable, and once I end the affair, I'll focus on making it up to her. My question now to r/relationships is, how can I end this affair? I know I have to because Emma is getting way too attached. I have to be careful in how I end it because she can really screw me over by going to my wife. I also want to be sensitive to her feelings because she's a wonderful person whom I do have feelings for. If I wasn't married, who knows? But I am, and it can't continue, and I know that. I just need some advice on finding a way to put an end to this without risking my marriage. Then OP posted an update. I debated posting an update or not, since the reception I've had on this sub has been icy at best. But I've already posted my story here, so I may as well keep at it. Yeah, I'm cheating, so there is that. I understand a lot of people don't support that, but just realize it's very complicated, and I'm trying to put an end to this. I feel like the unluckiest cheater in the world. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. Every cliche has basically happened to me. I just wanted to live a little and have that quick affair and get back to my wife and marriage. I asked for advice about a week ago. I tried to break up with Emma. I told her my wife was getting suspicious and we both deserved better. I told Emma she was an awesome girl and deserved to have someone all for herself. Her response? I'll wait for you. I love you more than I know possible. It hasn't even been a month of us being together. I ended things with her and she kept texting me and asking me to talk to her. I met up with her on Friday to have closure. I'm a horny idiot. I banged her in the back of my Jeep, which sent the wrong message. I told her we can't do this anymore, and I didn't talk to her Friday through Tuesday. Yesterday, she begs me to talk to her, so I go to her place. We end up taking way longer than we should, and some things go down. I just wish she would leave me alone. She's clingy and needy, and honestly, pretty effing crazy. Not what I signed up for. I'm like dying under the stress and drama. I have a hormonal pregnant wife and 2 young kids. I don't need this mess, and the guilt is starting to get to me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I honestly don't even want to continue the affair at this point. I'm not sure what my next move is. Just feel like venting right now. Then OP posts to r/askwomen, which is quite possibly the most hostile environment for this guy to get advice to. I'm not saying that women are hostile inherently. I'm just saying a guy cheating on his pregnant wife going to r/askwomen is kind of asking for it. So after a recap, which I'm not going to read because you guys know this story, he says, I've been researching how to handle breakups, and I don't think anyone has advice for how I can deal with my specific situation. I think this girl is just effing crazy. I told her I wouldn't respond to her messages anymore and that I didn't want to see her again. I've blocked her since I'm afraid if I delete her or remove her like that, she might do something rash. I stressed to her that she can't go to my wife, and I don't think she's going to. I made it seem like my wife would kill her, and I think she believes that. My problem is I'm still getting texts from her on a daily basis. It's really, truly unbelievable at this point. We weren't even together for that long. Some of the texts are harmless, things like, "Hey Noah, I was just thinking of you," or "miss you," which is okay, I suppose. It's just hard because I asked her not to text me and she keeps up with it. I'm either going to get caught by my wife or succumb again. My reason for posting is that earlier today she sent me a sultry picture, but acted like it was going to someone else. It was her topless and the text said, "Last night was super fun, Danny." My name is not Danny. Either she accidentally sent it to me or it was some weird attempt to make me jealous, which I admit it did a little. So I'm just looking for some type of feedback on what is going through her head and what I need to do to make sure that we stay broken up. I cannot get back with her. Then OP posts another post to r/relationships, which I'm not going to read because it's basically just the same post all over again, but there is a little bit of new information, so I'll read that. I have another post up where someone was telling me that I like Emma's attention, which after thinking about it for a bit, I have to agree is true. I like that she wants me, that she's in love with me, or feels like she is rather. I love that if I wanted to, I could go and be with her right now and she would let me. It's addicting and so effing wrong. I know what's important. It's my wife and our family. I know that, and I'm trying to forget Emma and what we did. I'm just struggling to detox myself from Emma. And she's making it so effing difficult for me by continuing contact. Right now, I'm just hoping to vent a little and maybe talk this out. My focus is to keep up no contact with Emma. I debated offering to be friends with her, but that's incredibly stupid and tempting, and I don't think it's a good idea. My other goal is to really get to the point of not caring about her. I'm still hooked on her. I'm constantly thinking about her. The hardest part is I have this outlet, and I'm a very high libido person, so it's really very alluring to just go and be with her. I don't know how to forget her. And then there's this problem of her suffering from the same thing, but seemingly worse. I haven't told her I'm thinking about her, but she makes it clear to me that she's thinking about me and wants me. Then OP makes a post to r/SE, and I'll let you guess what the last letter is. I'm not going to spell it. The title is, "My girlfriend and I never passionately hug in a bed. What are some different fun places to passionately hug safely? We've been together for about 7 weeks. The relationship itself is kind of a hot mess, but the passionate hugging is great and exciting, and some of the best that either of us have ever had. One of the things that started off fun, but I think is gradually getting less fun and more burdensome, is our inability to passionately hug in traditional places like the bedroom. I don't want to get into why, but we can't do it in my house. Her place is a struggle because she shares it with 2 other roommates. So we've pretty much been hugging in my Jeep mainly, which is starting to lose its luster. It was hot in a taboo kind of way originally, but it really isn't that great. It limits what we can do, and it's really not great for this type of thing. We tried the motel route a couple of times, and that was fun, but it does get expensive fast, and it's not really sustainable for an everyday type deal." Then OP makes another post to r/relationships. "What I've decided to do is contrary to 99% of the advice that I've received, and I still do have some regrets, but I sincerely believe this is the best possible approach. Yes, it's selfish, no other way to put it. I've tried several times to call off the affair, and time again, I haven't been strong enough. Around the last time I posted, I ended up talking to Emma, and we fell back into the affair. I've explained some things to her, and I've told her that I can't ever leave my wife, and that this can't be long term. And I've promised to stop jerking her around so much, and I'm going to work on being there for her more. We've been in this relationship 2.0 for about a week now, and it's been good. The passionate hugging is great, and we're getting into a more comfortable routine. I'm working hard to be better for her. It's been nice. We see each other almost every day, and we talk regularly. Some logistical things need to be worked out, but I think we're in a relationship that's mutually beneficial. I don't want this to go on forever though, and I'll work on repairing my marriage too. I'm trying to do more to help my wife with our kids and take some pressure off her. This isn't a decision I've made easily, and it's not even something I'm proud of. I just know that I'm not strong enough to not cheat. It's too easy and too tempting, and honestly, too much fun. I know still that I do love my wife and I do love our family, and I don't want a divorce. I've thought about what I would do if my wife found out. I've obsessed about what would happen, and I think that I would beg my wife for a second chance. I would confess and end this, but there are certain reasons why the affair helps me right now. Primal reasons. And I don't think my wife would just forgive me if I admitted to cheating. I've actually brought it up subtly by talking about Arnold, and my wife's opinion on him is extremely harsh. For clarity, I think OP is talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, who cheated on his wife, but I'm just guessing. So I can't imagine how she would feel about me, her own husband. I think it's very complicated, all of this. It's never so simple. I always thought someone should never cheat, they should leave. But it's not that easy. There are so many complications, it's not that simple. Then OP makes a post to r/adultery. I've been involved with another woman for almost 2 months now. It's been scary, thrilling, terrifying, and it's made me feel so alive. I've done some things right. I've kept it all concealed from my wife, and she doesn't have any real suspicion of me cheating at this point. The things that I've done wrong are numerous. I've become emotionally involved with the other woman. She regularly tells me that she loves me, which I do admit I enjoy hearing. I haven't repeated it to her, but I certainly do care about her. I've done some petty things like act jealous, and she knows that I care. The affair has become about more than just passionate hugging. I'm talking to her all the time, maybe even more than my wife and I talk. I have no desire to leave my wife or marriage. We have 2 kids together and are expecting our third. I think I started to cheat initially over some dissatisfaction in the bedroom and emotional reasons and general restlessness. I do feel guilty, but I've come to accept it now. For a while, I was consumed with guilt and I toyed Emma around. I've settled down emotionally and I accept that the affair is happening and that I'm a cheater. My question is, what sort of advice does one need to adhere to with something emotional like this? Other than don't get emotionally involved, since at this point I already am. I've told her that I'm not going to leave my wife, many times in fact, and she seems to be okay with it. She just doesn't like talking about my wife. Is there anything I must avoid? I'm looking at some sort of exit strategy for the affair. Right now, I don't want to mess with a good thing, but I don't want this to go on for years. The affair itself has been a boon for me emotionally and physically. Aside from the guilt, it's made me feel like I'm actually living my life to the fullest. I don't want to stop, but I don't want to get caught or hurt anyone unnecessarily. Then OP stops posting on Reddit and makes another post on a website called Surviving Infidelity, which is a forum. I will now read this final update. For background, I had a 2-month physical affair that I confessed to my wife 4 days ago. I haven't had much contact with the other woman since last week. And after some prodding here, I went to my wife last night and told her I wanted to go no contact with the other woman officially and I wanted her help. Her response? I don't care. That was frustrating for me, so I tried to initiate no contact myself. I called the other woman this morning and told her that my wife knows and we can't do this anymore. To which the other woman asked me bluntly why I'm staying. I told her I'd be with my wife as long as she would have me, and that I love my wife and we have so much together. The other woman asked if I was done with her forever, and I said, I don't know, which is the truth. The other woman told me I was making a mistake, but if I really didn't want her, she would step back. I know it's not perfect, no contact, but I think it's a start, and I couldn't end things with the other woman as coldly as some were suggesting. I told my wife this evening that I called the other woman for the last time, and I told her I can't and won't be talking to her. My wife didn't seem to even care, and I started to ask her what she was thinking. It's basically been 4 days of silence since I confessed. She told me she was thinking, and she doesn't know what she wants yet. She did tell me she wanted to take some time before making a decision, and after some back and forth, she eventually agreed that she wanted to wait a couple of months before deciding anything, presumably until after the holidays and after the baby gets here. I kept asking her what she wanted from me. I just want some guidance from her. She made one request. She wants to talk to the other woman and verify my story from her and see what she says and talk to her. I'm not sure if that's the best idea. The other woman can be volatile, and I'm not sure what she'll say. Is it a good idea or a bad idea for my wife to meet her? I can only imagine bad things will happen as a result. On the positive side, my wife agreed to come to counseling with me, and we have our first appointment next Monday. I've been reading some other posts on this forum, and my wife's reaction is nothing like theirs. My wife isn't spitting mad or emotional. It's like she just doesn't care. She did cry when I confessed, but since then, she's been like steel. It's almost off-putting and hurtful to me. I don't know what to make of it. Well, this was the most predictable story I've ever read in my life. Who could have seen this one coming, guys? One of the commenters in one of these updates said, It's like watching a clown run through a minefield, and I couldn't agree more. That was r/best of Redditor updates, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.